I'm proud to rise today on behalf of the people I represent in London West to speak to this bill. London is a community in Canada that now leads all other Canadian cities in terms of the jobless rate. We have the highest joblessness in Canada, and people who are struggling to find work, people who have been laid off in the healthcare sector, in manufacturing, in education, those workers could sure use some protection. And so they might look at the title of this bill, Protecting Ontario's Workers and Economic Resilience Act, and they might think, great, this bill is going to speak to the real concerns that we have, that Ontario workers have. It's going to provide that protection that workers have been calling for many years, but in particular with the economic crisis that we are now facing because of the Trump tariffs. But when they open this bill, they won't find the hope that they are looking for. They will see instead an omnibus bill, a kind of a grab bag of measures that lacks any serious focus and actually includes some very harmful new measures. So, given the limited time that I have available to speak to this bill, I'm going to focus only on a couple of the schedules that are included. I'm going to start with Schedule 1. Now, this schedule prohibits employers from charging their employees for branded uniforms, to either pay for those uniforms or to launder those uniforms, which it will be definitely helpful to those employees who have been forced to purchase those uniforms in order to work at that workplace. There is a concern, however, Speaker, that the government has said that the minister has said that there will be a consultation going on about certain exemptions for small businesses. Currently the definition of small business is up to 99 employees, and obviously, Speaker, there is a worry that the exemptions could end up excluding many workers in this province. There's a uncertainty about how franchises are going to be treated, for example. So workers at Tim Hortons, Canadian Tire could possibly be exempted. But this schedule really is in contrast to Schedule 5, which changes the Occupational Health and Safety Act. And what it does is it allows the Ministry of Labour to reimburse employers for the cost of required protective headwear. So potentially, Speaker, this could see the government reimbursing major corporate entities, very profitable companies like Ellis Dawn, for example. In 2025, Ellis Dawn made $5.6 billion in Canada, much of that from right here in Ontario. So we have some big questions about why the government would introduce legislation that would allow Ellis Dawn to be reimbursed for the cost of the protective headwear that employees need to wear in order to protect them. But the bigger picture, Speaker, is that there is a lot more support that workers in this province are looking for from this government. I want to thank the Workers' Action Centre that recently produced a report called The Crisis of Wage Theft in Ontario, and it shows that over the last 10 years, $200 million has been stolen from Ontario workers by employers, and that is what it has been reported through the Employment Standards Act complaint process. But we know that that's only a fraction of the workers who have had wages stolen by their employers, because the process of filing a complaint is onerous and complex, and many workers are too intimidated to go through that process. Wage theft, speakers, includes being paid less than minimum wage, not receiving overtime for overtime worked, getting paid fewer hours than worked, and most of all, misclassification. So gig workers, contract workers who are treated as independent contractors when they are actually employees and should be receiving all of the rights and benefits of being an employee. And so, Speaker, I would argue that protections against wage theft would have been a much more significant support for workers in this province than prohibiting employers from charging their staff for branded uniforms. So the Minister of Labour is here, and I hope that he is thinking about that for the next group of amendments that he brings forward. I'm now going to turn to Schedule 2, which once more makes significant changes to the Environmental Assessment Act. And this is a government, Speaker. We just had Earth Day yesterday. This is a government that has gutted environmental protections in this province, and so it's not really a surprise that they would have taken this opportunity to introduce yet more watering down of environmental protections. So this schedule prohibits the public from any longer requesting that the minister refer an environmental assessment to the Ontario Land Tribunal. The minister no longer has to conduct and publish a review of a comprehensive environmental assessment. The minister no longer has to provide opportunity for public comments. But the most worrisome thing, Speaker, and it's not in the bill itself, it's actually buried in the backgrounder, which says that there will be regulatory changes coming that will exempt certain landfill expansion projects from the Environmental Assessment Act. And, you know, we saw this in southwestern Ontario with the Dresden landfill. We saw this government bring in, special economic zones with Bill 5, the zones where no provincial laws apply, and they brought that in so that they could exempt the Dresden landfill project from environmental assessment. And now, with the regulatory changes that are proposed for this bill, we are going to see this happening with landfill expansion projects all across the province. The other schedule that I wanted to briefly mention is the changes that are proposed dealing with international medical graduates. So this Schedule 4 of this bill would prioritize residency spots for certain international medical graduates who have a previous connection to Ontario. And there has been significant pushback, Speaker, from patients and the medical community about what this is going to mean for the 2.5 million Ontarians who are still waiting for a family doctor. The president of the Ontario Medical Association said that any kind of restriction of access to the first round of the matching process to get the residency spots, risks excluding some of those qualified, internationally trained physicians who are really ready to care for patients. And we know that these international medical graduates fill more than 60% of family medicine residency spots. So it's baffling, Speaker, to think that this government is prepared to introduce legislative changes that are going to limit the pool of potential family physicians instead of expanding it. So, Speaker, there are a couple of good things in this bill, but there are some very, very concerning schedules, and it will be important for this government to hear from the province as to what this is going to mean.
Thank you so much. It's time for oral questions.